People don't take enough care when emerging, and this is what today's video is all about. This first clip is not the clearest of footage, but it's a national speed limit section and it's on a bend. The driver of the van needed to take much more care, but my viewer was also involved heavily. Why overtake? The van driver, however, did have a chance to see my viewer and stop before the giveaway line. It's not a good emerge. This is some much better footage from a VFO dashcam, but a little word of advice. Try not to aim it at the sky, because the dashcam will expose for the sky and a lot of the shadows will be quite dark. This VFO A129 Plus copes with it quite well though. The next poor emerge that we're going to see is just over the brow of this little hill up ahead. That was definitely a case of I'm coming out anyway, and he has the gall to stop and argue the toss. However, I don't think I would have done the same as my viewer. I think I would have appreciated the difficulty and just held back and let him finish. So again, some involvement from both parties. This is a very difficult one this. The car from the right emerges from behind the A-pillar, but I would still make sure that every vehicle that I see has seen me and is stopping before I go past.
Which makes for really intriguing television. The consciousness lingering after death is actually really morbid.
Have a look again to see how late my viewer actually reacted.
Television. The consciousness lingering after death is
At this point you can tell the black car's going to come out.
actually really morbid.
But my viewer only reacts here. Remember, on this channel we'll never just solely talk about blame. That's poor road use. I'll always try and give you hints and tips to stop you getting into this situation in the first place. Cars that haven't been involved in an accident are worth considerably more than cars that have been written off. What if you purchased a vehicle and you didn't know its hidden history? An Audi S3 is a very desirable motor, and this 2019 model has been involved in a heavy front-end hit. But if you've checked this vehicle out using the Car Vertical website by simply putting in the registration or the VIN number, you'll be sent a report which documents all this damage. The reports can also show you a great deal of information that's happened after the collision. For example, this S3 has had a successful MOT since it's been damaged. So it's probably back on the road. But if it did come up for sale and you didn't check it out, you wouldn't know. And this car, don't forget, could be worth significantly less than one that wouldn't be damaged. If you use the code Ashley or the links in the description, you can save yourself 20% on checking out your next potential purchase. Thanks, Car Vertical. How fast was that oncoming Golf? Well, it was way too fast for the white Ford emerging behind my viewer to spot it. That's how people die. I'd also like to mention to the driver of the white Ford that they did a brilliant job. Keep looking out for people who drive this recklessly. Nice care of the danger of someone being flashed out by Charles from Dashcam Hull.
I think you are. Thank you very much. You weren't flashing me out, you were flashing him out. Right.
That's the problem with flashing.
Yeah, isn't it just?
It can be the vehicles that can't be seen that cause the most problems, and that's the same in this case. No way I would have emerged there, but I would have been ready for it, just like my viewer was. Nice work. Poor emerging's even more dangerous when you're riding on two wheels. This one was difficult as well. What was that driver doing? Well, we get to see from a different cam as well. My viewer was travelling a little close. Further back would have improved the view. they were also increasing speed into an increasing risk. So again, some more things that could be improved upon. It's difficult to see exactly what triggered this. I would suspect a flash from the oncoming vehicle. Please don't flash people to let them out at junctions, but even more important is not to act upon a flash. This is just terrible careless driving by the driver of the Range Rover. But the driver of the red Peugeot oncoming had something to do with this. Even if they didn't flash, have a look at their position and what was that saying to anyone else at the side roads. Not much my viewer could have done about this.
One of them.
No. Told you that's what happened.
Nice save. Don't forget, joining fast roads can also be emerging, which is also often done really badly. My viewer slowing down to this extent made it a non-event, but they shouldn't have to. You can also have poor emerges coming onto roundabouts. Here's another different scenario for you to have a little think about. Hidden behind a queue. It was as if that driver emerging knew how dangerous it was as well. You need to be really aware of unusual layouts also.
We might.
Yeah.
Pretty obviously, it's not just in the UK that we have poor emerges. I thought my viewer read that brilliantly. Great use of the horn as well. No excuses or reasoning for this. This is just simply awful. This driver to the left must have done a brilliant job to avoid contact or collision. And this final clip of this video also shows a brilliant job by my viewer. Being at a speed where you could stop if anyone emerged poorly is crucial. And this saved a life, without question. Hopefully that shocked you enough just to slow down just a few miles an hour on similar roads. My viewer also thought it was within his duty to try and find out where the kid lived, and when he did speak to the parents, they seemed to play it down a little. Hopefully they see this clip and realise what a close call it actually was.
So we've seen some terrible emerges in that video today, and quite simply it must be one of the biggest problems that there are on the roads, because since I've reorganised a lot of my videos, that folder's without question the biggest. So take a little bit more care, go a little slower, look out for the more vulnerable, and hopefully you've learned a few bits from the commentary that I've given today. Don't forget, if you can, click that like button, and if you haven't done already, please subscribe. I'll see you all soon.